to the Hear and Heard podcast. I am your podcast host, Emily. I want this to be a safe space for all women to tell their stories, grieve the hard parts, and celebrate themselves. Thank you for being here.
I had Nurse Katie was the nurse at the time.
Yeah.
If you're listening, hi Nurse Katie, you're amazing.
Labor and delivery and postpartum nurses are true angels.
Truly, yes. So, she was there. No, it was Nurse Krista at first.
Oh, okay.
It was
Okay.
Krista.
Yeah.
Krista started me. Hi, Nurse Krista. You're also super amazing. So Krista was there, and we started. And I came in with I very much have a labor and delivery plan, and
Yeah.
I want to have a natural, unmedicated labor and delivery, and I want very few interventions.
Yeah.
I just want to fully experience this. I have seen 4 births. I know it's not easy. I know it doesn't feel good. I love having control of my own body, and I am okay with pain. Like, I'm comfortable feeling pain.
Yeah.
I am comfortable like controlling my feelings and my emotions and my breathing and all of that. So I was very dead set on like this is what I want for my birth. And it started out really beautiful. Like, I was in the bathtub, and I had my essential oils, and I had my white noise, and I had Ian with me, and he was truly an angel as far as a birth partner.
Yeah.
Like, he was so awesome. And things were progressing. I had been dilated, only 1 centimeter.
Okay.
But I had had a membrane sweep twice.
Okay.
That had been unsuccessful. And they had a really hard time checking my dilation because his head was super low.
Okay.
And so like my cervix was behind his head.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. And so Dr. Greenleaf had struggled my whole pregnancy at the end there to like check me, and she's like, I think you're a 1. I think I'm getting the membrane sweep, but like I can barely get there. And then the next doctor, when I first got to the hospital, she's like, oh, okay, I see what she meant. Yeah, I can barely reach your cervix.
Okay.
And the nurses are like, oh yeah, again, we see what you mean.
Yeah.
I was very effaced, but just not very dilated. So I started dilating naturally. I was at a 2 or 3, and I was going from being in the tub to being on the ball and, moving around, and started to get uncomfortable. And I got to the hospital at like 9:30.
Okay.
I started getting the shakes super bad.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of started to get a little scared because I wasn't prepared for that. That's not something that I had seen my sisters have or whatever. And so I kind of got a little scared, and then it was around midnight probably.
Yeah.
And Krista came in and checked me, and she said that we were, I think, like around a 5 or a 6.
Okay.
And then the doctor who I had at the beginning came in a little bit later. And I've been in labor since, 8:30 or 8 o'clock when my water broke.
Yeah.
Like, it had already been a while.
Yeah.
I had been up all day long. Like, I hadn't
You were
even napped. I
tired.
didn't know. I was already tired. So it was at 12:41, and I was 3 centimeters at that point. I had been in labor for a while, but I hadn't progressed super
much,
far.
Yeah.
But at that point, it was really starting to pick up, and so I agreed, like, okay, what, like, I conferred with my sister, I conferred with the nurses, like, what do you think? Do you think I'm in that, like, 4-hour window?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah. In the next 4 hours, the way you've been progressing now, it started to pick up. Like, start the antibiotics. So I started them, thinking like, okay, yeah, we're getting close. No, I was not. I was not close. Things were picking up, but I was not close. And I started to get sick. I threw up multiple times.
So hard.
Yeah, and I was just so nauseous. And I was starting to get really uncomfortable, and I was starting to get really tired. And that's kind of when I was like, okay, I need to mentally check out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I checked out a little bit and, oh, my best friend during this was the comb.
Oh, yes, the birth comb.
Yes, I
Yeah.
had, like, I don't know, my sisters hadn't used that, and
Yeah.
I was just kind of unaware of
The benefits
the
and
benefits,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and, so Annie, my oldest sister, had given me, they have, like, a little spiky, like, ring thing you can hold. I don't know if you
Yes.
like the
Yeah.
plastic.
Yeah.
So she'd, like, give me that right away, and I had, like, "Oh, I like this," and then when the contractions started to pick up, I was like, "I need something more. Like, I need give me more
Yeah.
pain to
Yeah.
counteract,"
Yeah.
and gave me the comb, and I was like,
This is it.
"Yeah, this is the guy."
Yeah.
And I was gripping this, like, death gripping this comb
Yeah.
and, like, had my arms around either Ian's or Annie's neck and
Yeah.
just rocking back and forth. That
Yeah.
is how I got through my contractions, and I just went into just this other place. I was like, "I can't be here anymore.
Yeah.
I need to just get into my zone and,
Yeah.
like, get through this." And it was like I talk about it, and it was the hardest thing. I think the contractions ended up being more painful than I anticipated, but also like, it was so beautiful
Yeah.
to be in a space where you feel so vulnerable,
Yeah.
but you feel so safe at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
I have my mom, like, the person who brought me into this world.
Yeah.
I have my sister. I have Ian, and I have this amazing nurse, couple of amazing nurses in the end, who are being so supportive, and it's like, you're like, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring my own little cutesy gown, and I'm gonna wear this," and I'm like, "No," I wore the hospital gown with the back open the entire time,
Yes.
with my butt out for the world to see,
Yeah.
with blood dripping down my legs and, like, all over the floor, and the nurse is just like, "No problem, just coming behind me, just, like, cleaning it up, throwing pads down on the floor for me to
It
stand
just,
on," and
like, it all kinda just goes out the window
yeah.
when you're in it and you don't care.
No,
You're
you don't
like
care who's there, you don't care like, I'm in the bathtub, I don't care who's in here,
yeah.
like, I'm on the toilet, I don't care who's in here, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey, can you come in here? I have questions. Let's talk," while I'm sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
You know, in what part of your life is it like that? But it's just, like, it's so vulnerable, but so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm still just, like, working through this, and, uh, it just continued and continued, and at 3 a.m., my contractions had started to space out.
Oh, my Lanta. Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm like, "Why is this happening? We've been in this for a long time," and I was progressing, and now my contractions are starting to space out. So the nurse and my sister are like, "Let's get you off the bed," because I had started to get really uncomfortable, and I was like, "I just wanna lay down. I'm tired, and I just wanna lay down," and
Yeah.
they're like, "I think you're laying down, and that's, like, making things slow down a little
Yeah.
bit, so, like, let's try to get you back up on your feet." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever I have to do." Like, get me
Yeah.
back on my feet.
Yeah.
Got back on my feet. Right before I got up, is when the nurse checked me, and she said I was 7 centimeters, and 90% effaced, and it was like, "Okay, that's
Huge.
yes,
And that's transition, like
yes, okay, we're making progress, we're
yeah.
doing good." And then that's when I got into the bathtub,
Okay.
and I was like she's like, "We're not having this baby in the bathtub,
Yeah.
okay? So if you start feeling pushy, you need to get out." And
So
then
your brain is there.
yes.
Oh, nurse is talking about maybe
Post
pushing, like, okay, here we
Yes.
go.
And it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, this has been since 8 p.m. So it's been a while. And
Yeah.
like I said, those last births that I had been at, that happened so fast.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this has to, like, we
Yeah.
have to be getting close. So I'm in the bathtub. And at that point, and this is another thing that I didn't anticipate, is the pressure in your butt.
Oh, yes.
I'm
Holy
like,
moly.
am I going to poop? Am I going to push a baby out right now? What is this feeling? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I might have to push. I don't know what this feeling is. I'm
Yeah.
not enjoying it. I think I need to get out of the bathtub.
Yeah.
So I'm, again, like you said, my mind is there. And I get out, and she's like, "Okay, we're going to get the doctor to come in and check you." Doctor comes in and checks me. And this is at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:45.
Yeah.
The doctor came in, and she checked me and said, "Well, actually, you're not progressing. In fact, I don't even think you're a 5 or a 6, I think you're a 4." And she said it just like that. And in that moment, it just knocked the wind out of my sails.
Yeah.
And I had, like, up until that point, had such this empowering, "I got this, I'm doing
strong,
this."
yeah.
And then I was like, "I can't do this."
And also, it's the middle of the night, and the
Mhm.
middle of the night is always so much harder.
Yes.
Like, there's not light coming in,
Yes.
that's hard, you're exhausted, and then this doctor gives you attitude and,
Yeah.
like, doesn't say it. I don't know, that's so frustrating. There's
Just, like,
ways to.
there are to say, like, "Okay, you know, we still have a ways to go, but
Yeah,
keep doing what
yeah,
you're doing a good job. Let's change positions. Let's
yeah,
try something different." There's just ways to put a positive spin behind it instead of just,
you're not.
yeah, you're in fact, you're not even there. She also did not like my no pain management. I was like, "I don't want any."
She didn't?
No. I don't know
What?
why. I don't know why. She did not like that. She did not like that I had made a plan with Dr. Greenleaf about, this is when I'm gonna start the antibiotics, and I'm gonna do these 2 antibiotics because we had agreed that, like, normally you start them after your water breaks,
Yeah,
but we were gonna wait closer till I was in active labor,
yeah,
so that I could have my window, and she was like, "I want you to start them right now." And I was like, "No, I'm not going to." And she didn't like that. And so I was, like, very much, I felt like I really had to stand my ground a lot in, like, the early.
and that is exhausting in of
Yes.
itself.
Yes. And it didn't feel like when she would come into the room to check me or to see how progress was going, it was just, I didn't feel relaxed and
Yeah,
comfortable. I felt like, okay, what am I going to do to defend myself next? And the nurses, like I said, Crystal was amazing. She was so supportive of my plan, and she loved that my sister was an OB and she was there. And she's
yeah,
like, "What do you think?" Like, we're like bouncing ideas off each
I love
other.
it.
And the nurse, she'd like doctor left the room, and the nurse is like, "I'm more dilated than that." And I'm like, "Am I really?" And she's like, "Yes. You're having this baby soon. You've got
Oh,
this." And it was the end of her, like, it's
I
5
have
in
the
the morning.
goosebumps now.
Yes. And it's like end of her
Getting
shift.
close.
Yes. And I was like, I just had gotten so comfortable with her, and she's like, "You know what? I am back tonight. You're gonna have this baby in the next couple hours. I will see you tonight.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna be great." And so then that's when Nurse Katie came in and took over. And she's like, "Krista said we're having this baby. How you doing?" And I'm like, "Ready to have this baby. Let's do
Yeah.
this." And because the doctor had said, like, "Oh, you haven't progressed or whatever," my sister and the nurse are like, "Okay, like let's do some things. Let's do some
Yeah.
circuits."
Yeah.
And what did they call them? Like the bilateral runner's position and the
Okay.
Levon circuit with a peanut ball.
Yes, I've heard of those.
Yeah. And so it's like turning on your side and like have the peanut ball between your legs and like being on your back and then being on the other side and like,
And I think I should be able to speak on this a little bit better, but I think, like, the baby has to kinda maneuver through the pelvis,
yes.
and I think that is the point, is to kinda get
Yes.
baby in the right position to maneuver.
And so we were trying to, yes, maneuver him. So they do all these different things. And I'm like, I don't even know that they were uncomfortable. The different positions were uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
wanted to be on my back, which is
Okay.
funny because in my birth plan, I'm like, I want to be
Relax.
squatting. I want to be on my hands and knees. I want to be up. I
Yeah.
do not want to be on my back.
Yeah.
And the only place I wanted to be was on my back. I was
Yeah.
just like, holy F, I'm holding on to the bed rails, just like holding on to my birthing comb, just breathing through it. Just like, I remember just like somebody would talk and I would just like open my eyes and just look over, like,
Side eye.
be quiet. I was
Yeah.
like, very calm, but just like, I just need silence in the room.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
I can't picture that from you at all.
well,
Just
I was worried I was going to be like mean,
yeah,
aggressive.
yeah. You never know
I was like,
how
I
you're
don't
gonna.
want it to be a negative experience that my husband's like, oh my God. I don't want to be the one that's like, you did this to me. Like you see in the movies.
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
I don't want to be like that. But no, I was just like, very just like, I just need to be in my zone.
yeah.
And had my eyes closed during all these circuits. And I was just like, my sister is telling me I need to do this. Nurse Krista and Nurse Katie told me I need to do this. I'm just going to do this. And we are going to get this baby out. And that's when I opened my eyes and it was 7 o'clock in the morning and the sun was up. And I was like, holy hell, what happened? Where am I?
Yeah.
And why is this baby still inside of me? And they came and there was a new doctor working at this point, which was exactly what I needed.
Yes.
I was really sad that Dr. Greenleaf wasn't there.
Yeah.
But then who did I have? I do want to mention her name, Dr. Lund. Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Lund. And then she had a resident with her, Dr. Hong. And they were both fabulous.
I love it.
If they hear this, hey, you guys are amazing. I just have to give shout outs because I want to use their names because they seriously made such a difference for me.
Yeah.
Dr. Lund comes in and she's like, all right, they're catching me up. You've been in labor for a long time, girl. How you doing? Like, we are approaching 12 hours.
I just want to mention too that you said you were feeling crampy,
Yeah.
but you were like nesting, contracting, getting ready, busy all day.
Yeah, this had been 24 hours.
Like you were not resting.
No.
You were going for 24 hours.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is huge.
And I had, I was very tired.
Yeah.
And Dr. Lund gets there and she checks me and she's like, girl, you are like almost 9 centimeters. Like,
Oh,
you were
sunlight's
getting
coming
there.
in.
Yes. And so I'm
The
like,
world is getting better.
oh, okay. Like, and again, I have this picture in my mind now, mind you, like of my sister starts pushing and 8 minutes after she starts pushing, the baby is there. So I also, again, kind of set myself up for a little bit of defeat because I was like, as soon as they tell me I'm going to start pushing, everyone's going to flood in and they're going to break the table down and like baby's going to come out. Like I didn't have this vision of like, pushing in the bed for a while.
Yeah.
I had push, babies here. Which was unfortunately not my experience. I had no idea what I had in store for me. But just before 8 o'clock, I was complete and it was time to start pushing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And I was so upset when I realized that my sister was like, you need to let go of the birth comb.
No.
And you need to let go of Ian's hand because that's what I had, the birth comb in one hand and Ian's hand in the other. She's like, you need to let go. And I was like, no, I don't. And she's like, honey, you need to hold your legs. Okay. That's like what is going to be like, if you want to be in this position, which is what I wanted to be in the end. Like funny, my birth plan, I didn't, but she's like, it is going to help you to hold the backs of your legs while you're pushing. That is going to help you direct your energy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fine. Here's my birth comb. I'm taking that home with me. I like that thing. And I started pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is something supposed to happen? Like,
it's gonna do this all day.
Truly, it felt like it was all day. And Dr. Lund and Dr. Hong would come in and they would come in and I'd be like, okay, they must have gotten called. Like, it's time.
It's time.
And they would sit there and talk me through a few pushes and, yep, you're pushing in the right spot. That's exactly it. Keep pushing. Okay, we'll check back in a little bit. And they'd leave. And I'm like, no, it's not time. They're not breaking the bed down. Why aren't you breaking the bed down? I need the baby out of me. I am so tired. And yeah, so an hour into pushing, they were like, why don't we try a different position? And I'm like, okay, fine. I want to be on my back, but sure, whatever. So I get on my hands and knees and I was like, my butthole is going to yes, like what is that feeling? No, we simply cannot push in this position. So then I like changed to squatting with the bar on the bed and I pushed like that again forever. And I finally broke at probably 9:30 in the morning and I just started to cry. And I was draped over the peanut ball at this point in the bed.
Yeah.
And I am on my hands and knees and I'm laying over this peanut ball and I just start sobbing. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
I just thought my body would do this and it would happen and it would, why is this baby not here? I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
It was Nurse Katie and she like looks at me and she's like, you are doing so amazing. She's like, you have been at this for hours,
Yeah.
completely unmedicated. She's like, you're a rock star. She's
Yeah.
like, this is crazy. And she's like, I'm gonna ask you this, like, she's like, do you want to consider pain management? Like, she's
Yeah.
like, you've been at this for a really long time. You're really tired.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you want to um have an epidural and try and take a nap?
Yeah.
And this is in the middle of pushing. Do you want an
That
epidural to
is
take a nap?
crazy.
Because I was so exhausted.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't. Because in that moment, which is like, I think it's because I'm so hard on myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am competitive with myself and I'm competitive with my sisters. Both my sisters had unmedicated births. And I'm
Yeah.
like, they can do it. I can do it. And
Yeah.
it wasn't a matter of like, couldn't do it. I could do it,
Yeah.
but I was tired. But I saw it as a failure if I give in. And I was also like, I have been at this for how many hours at this point?
Yeah.
Like, if I was gonna have an epidural, why didn't I have it
A
hours
long
ago?
time ago.
Like, I've been
Yeah.
through a lot of pain to
Yeah.
now give into an epidural.
Yeah.
Um, and they this is when they told me that his head was stuck on my pubic bone,
Okay.
and that basically, like, his head was tipped backwards.
Okay.
Um, and so normally when their head is, like, going through, the head can mold, like, they get
Yeah.
the cone head and it
Right.
molds through. Well,
Yeah.
because his head was tipped backwards, it was, like, his forehead that was messing, so
Oh.
he couldn't mold to come through.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Um, and so he had to somehow move to get the head out. And Dr. Lund came in for the first time at this point and was like, okay, we need to talk about your options. You've been pushing for 2 hours at this point.
Yeah.
Um, we either need to get this baby out, we need to give you an epidural to hopefully let your body relax a little bit. Cause she's like, at this point, like, you get so tense that your body almost works against
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Um, um, and do some Pitocin to try and ramp your contractions up to help allow your contractions to do more of the work
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that your tired body doesn't have to push as hard. Or we need to consider using forceps or vacuum
Yeah.
to pull his head because it's trapped where it's at. And I was like, well, I don't want any of those things. I told you I want no interventions, basically,
Yeah.
unless you're telling me I have to do it. And I was like, are you telling me I have to do this? And she's
Yeah.
like, no, you're really tired. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I am, but that's not what I want. If I can keep working at it, I want to keep working at it. She's
Yeah.
like, okay. So there was lots more pushing and lots more doctor coming in, not being the time, doctor leaving. And then it was, and like the other thing too, the forceps and the vacuum posed another big risk to increased tearing,
Yeah.
which I was also nervous about with the
Right.
UC. So I
Right.
was like, those I for sure didn't want. So then she came in again and was like, um, it was like 10, 10:45 ish.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I think we're at a decision point. Are you going to do an epidural and Pitocin, or are you going to consider a C-section now at this point? Like, it's
Yeah.
been long enough that, like, I think we need to consider cutting this baby out. Again, I was like, either of those options make me feel like I've failed, which is
Yeah.
not true.
It's not true at all, but I get it in the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I remember looking at my sister, like, tell me what options I have. And she's like, I really do agree. We're getting really close to needing to do something
Something. Yeah.
because your risk of hemorrhaging goes up the longer that you're pushing, the risk of him going into a crisis. And somehow, like, his heart rate stayed steady this whole time.
Which is amazing.
Yes, for how long I was laboring, like, it was just consistent. And they're just like, that's the only reason they let me push as long as
Yeah.
they did. They're like, most people we wouldn't because the baby would start to go into some level
Yeah.
of distress.
Yeah.
But he stayed so consistent. So um I finally said, okay, I'll take Pitocin
Okay.
and see if that helps.
Okay.
So ramps the contractions up, and I'm still pushing. It was probably 11 o'clock now. They started the Pitocin then.
Yeah.
So 15 minutes or whatever, and I'm still pushing, and the doctor had been in the room the whole time, and she's just like, "You're pushing in the right spot, but, like, his head, we gotta get his head past here. His head is still just at this point." She's like, "I can see it. I can feel it,
Oh, no.
but,
But it
like,
just is stuck.
it's stuck." And I remember seeing the nurse and my sister and the doctor all kind of look at each other
Mm.
like, "It's time. We need to make a decision."
Yeah.
And, um, it's kinda funny, they let my sister break the news to me, and she's like, "Okay, hon, like, we can't just keep pushing forever. We
Yeah.
need to do something.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?" And I was like, "Do I have to?" Like, this is just like, I just envisioned this birth being natural and without any pain management, and just like, this is
Yeah.
just what I wanted. I just wanted to be so present for all of this.
Yeah.
And she looks at the doctor, and she looks back at me, and she looks at the doctor again, and she's like, "How many more contractions?" And Dr. Lynn said, "3 more contractions. You have 3 more contractions, and if his head is not past your pubic bone, you either need to have that epidural or you need to agree to a C-section.
Okay.
We can't keep going."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got pissed. That's something about me is, like,
Yeah.
anger fuels me.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You are not going to fail. You have
Yeah.
been doing this for how many hours?
Yeah.
You had this plan. You have seen these natural births before. You know your body knows how to do this. You know how to do this. You're getting this baby out of you."
Yeah.
And I had 1 contraction, and they were like, that is the push. That is the push. That is
Okay.
the one. Keep going."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the next contraction, Dr. Lund goes, "Holy shit." And his head goes past. And it was
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
"Oh my god, I did it." And
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
like the biggest adrenaline
Yeah.
rush that I have had, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my god, we are getting this baby out.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
going to happen. Its head is not stuck. It is
It's time.
time."
Yeah.
And I don't really know how, like, I feel like time just, like, warped in that
Works.
moment.
Yeah.
I don't know how long or how many pushes or how many contractions I had, but the bed broke down at that point, and that's what I
Finally.
remember. I remember the flood of people into the room and the bed breaking down, and I was like, "I know what that means. I have seen this, and I know that
We're
I'm
here.
so close to my
Yeah.
baby being in my arms." And at this point, I think it's kind of funny too. You don't even feel the contractions anymore.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The contractions are so painful before you start pushing, but then once you're pushing, it's like no longer contraction pain. It's just like
Like
this, like, every ounce of your energy going into just
that.
pushing,
Yes.
and that's all you're thinking was pushing and
Yeah.
breathing. And Nurse Katie was there, and she was counting through every push with me
Yeah.
and holding my hand and like, "Yep, yep, that's the one," and like
Yeah.
just hearing her voice. And I was just like, I remember a few times just like, "I can't keep pushing." And she's like, "Take a breath and do it again." And I'm like, "I gotta keep pushing." And okay, she's the boss. Um, so yeah, the magical breakdown the bed moment happened. Then they're like, "I there's his head. His head is here." And the ring of fire. Holy Hannah. The ring of
Yes.
fire is really truly the only way to describe that.
Oh, yeah.
I Yes, and I was like, "Holy cow, I'm literally going to just split open. There's no way
Yeah.
that this is happening right
Yeah.
now." But again, you're just so close that it doesn't matter how much it hurts. It doesn't, like,
Yeah, you just keep going.
just keep pushing. And I remember one of the nurses like, "Look at that hair. You could put it in a ponytail." And I was like, "Oh my god." And they're like, "Do you want to see?" And I was like, "No. No, I don't." And I'm like, "I am terrified to see. I might stop pushing if you let me see right now. You don't want
Do
me to
not
see."
get me a mirror.
Yes, let me just get this baby out. And I also remember Ian and I, before I went into labor, and we were talking about having the baby. Obviously, I wanted him there, and I was like, "Do you want to?" watch? What are your thoughts
Yeah.
on this? And he's like, I don't really know. I don't know how I feel about it all. He's like, what do you want? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm okay if you stay above my waist. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine with me. I've seen it myself and you might be traumatized. And he's like, okay, whatever. And then I had that last push and his head comes out and that sweet relief
Oh, yeah.
of his head being out and it just
Yes.
feels like their body just like falls out after their
Truly.
head. Like,
Truly.
I know it's not, but like just so much easier compared to that head. And
Yeah.
like I said, he had a 99th percentile head. So it was a big, big head. And I hear somebody say something about the cord.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And I am just like, is he okay?
Yeah.
And I hear the scream, I hear him start to cry,
Right.
and then all of a sudden he's on my chest. And I'm like,
Cord.
what?
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Is he okay? And they're like, his cord, he had a double nuchal, so wrapped around his neck twice, and he had a knot in his
That is
cord, a true knot.
That's insane.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, his heart rate was consistent the whole time with the cord wrapped around his neck twice and a true knot in his cord.
And all of your pushing.
Yes. And I'm just like, I don't know. I really, so one of the nurses said, oh my gosh, I have a picture of the cord and with the knot in it. And they're like, do you know it's a good luck to have a knot in your cord? And I was like, oh no, I didn't know that. And like later on, my sister asked, like, oh, what is the story behind that? Like, I've heard that, but like, I've never
Yeah.
actually asked, like, why is that good luck?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, it's because they're lucky to be alive. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh my God. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, is he okay? And they're like, he is now. Like, should he be? Probably not, but he is. And I had a really long cord too, which is so strange. He was all the way up on my chest.
And it's still attached to the cord.
Yes. Yes. So when I was talked about him being super, super active and I was at the very end, he was still somersaulting in me as a big baby.
Oh.
And so they think sometime after the 35-week scan, because he was still moving around, that's when the cord got wrapped and yeah, to have the knot in the cord and all of that. So he ended up being 8 pounds, 3.5 ounces, which
Wow.
isn't actually as big as they were
Yeah.
predicting he would
Yeah.
be, but it's probably because of the knot in his cord. Towards the end, he wasn't getting as much nutrients. So he actually let him slowed his growth.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, he got put on my chest and he was there and he was beautiful.
And the bliss.
The bliss. It was just like, and Ian caught it on video of those last pushes and him landing on my chest and it just the words that came out of my mouth are my angel. And he's my angel and I'm here and we had most beautiful golden hour and he latched right away.
Yeah.
And he was healthy really miraculously. He was healthy. And I remember asking and like once like the dust settled a little bit and they're like, okay, you're gonna deliver your placenta and I'm like, yeah, you do what you gotta do and they're like, push if you want. I'm like, oh, sure, this is no big deal. This is easy.
Right.
And then I remember I was like, did I tear my butthole? And the doctor stops and she just like looks up at me and she goes, you did not tear to your anus? And my mom starts laughing and she goes, oh, come on. Because she had apologized to me. She was like, I'm so sorry I said holy shit. I was just so shocked. I did not think he was going to get past through the bone. Like, I thought I was giving you as many opportunities as I could. I really didn't think we were going to get there. And she's like, I'm so sorry that I swore. And I was like, oh my God, no, thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Like, that's my comfort zone. And my mom's like, oh, come on, Dr. Lund, you already swore. Just call it a butthole. And she's like, you did not tear to your butthole. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh,
and then I look at Ian and I was like, did you watch? And he's like, my son was coming into the world. Yeah, I watched. And I was like, "And you love me?" And he's like,
Of course.
"Yes." Like, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he was just like, he was so just rock solid, steady for me. It was such a special experience just
Yeah.
to have him and my mom and Annie all there. And yeah, I had skin to skin and golden hour, and Ian got to have skin to skin with him.
Yeah.
And Ian got to cut the cord.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it literally ended up being exactly what I wanted
Yeah.
to a T. This is the experience I wanted, and it was a lot longer and a lot harder, and I really had to earn it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it was the exact birth experience I wanted, and it just like it truly was the most blissful, beautiful, amazing moment.
Yeah. I love
So,
it.
yeah, my very long-winded, I cannot,
No, that's okay. That's good. I
story of
like to
bringing
hear
my little boy.
I love to hear it all. And it's so interesting when it's fresh in your brain
Yeah.
compared to years
Right.
old.
I know, I have so many more of those little feelings and
Yes.
that are still so
So
raw
fresh.
and
Yeah.
yeah. So, um, I was like before I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna just wanna, like, get out of the hospital and go home."
Yeah.
I didn't sleep. Well, obviously, I had been awake. So, like, 8 AM on, um, the 18th, and then I had him actually finally at 11:41 AM on the 19th,
Yeah. Oh,
and then I did not sleep all day.
yeah.
I just, like, in that I just can't
You're in the
take
baby
take
bubble.
my eyes
Yes.
off of
Yeah.
him. Like, I
Yeah.
just wanna hold him and love him and stare at him. And then that night came, and my sweet little boy, he did not like laying in the bassinet, which I like, how could you not?
Right.
I mean, like,
Right.
or how could you, like, not wanna be with your mom?
Yeah.
You had just been inside of me for 9
9
months, of
months.
course you want to be with me, but he did not wanna get laid down, and so he was in my arms, and I stayed awake all night long. And then it's the 20th, and I'm like, "Oh, can I go home today?" And they're like, "Well, you can, but if you want to?" And I was like, "Alright, you're right, no. No, I
Yeah.
actually don't. I don't. I'm terrified to go home now that you mention it. Like, what
Yeah.
am I supposed to do when I go home?" And I pushed, I mean, I pushed and, labored for a really long time, so walking was
Hard.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember Ian coming to the bathroom with me very first time. I thought this was just so sweet. I just have to, like, give this little shout out to him 'cause, um, I just don't think every man is, like, as, comfortable with it or
Yeah.
okay with
Oh,
it.
yeah. Right.
And the very first time, like, the nurses both help you to the bathroom or
Yep.
whatever, and I'm in there, and he comes, and he watches how they set up the ice pack and
Yeah.
the witch hazel pads and with the disposable underwear, and they set it all up or whatever and help me into it, and every time I went to the bathroom after that until I could when we went home,
Yeah.
everything, until I could do it by myself because I couldn't for a few
Yeah.
days. I couldn't
Yeah.
do it by myself.
Yeah.
He came with me and he set it all up for
Mhm.
me and helped me step into it
I
and pull it
love
up.
it.
And I'm just to have that such a vulnerable, gentle moment with
Yeah.
the person that you chose. And it just made me reflect on our journey to get to that point. And we
Yeah.
had waited longer than I thought we would.
Yeah.
And that to me was such a big sign of this is why.
Yeah.
Because he needed to grow as a person
Yeah.
to get to that point that he could be this incredible support as my
Mhm.
husband and my partner
Yeah.
and the father of my child.
Yeah.
And I needed to grow to the point to like accept the help
Yeah.
and to be vulnerable because that's
Yeah.
not something that I was comfortable with being before. So yeah, we ended up going home on well, his birthday is actually the 20th. So we
Yeah.
celebrate his birthday in the hospital and Nurse Katie comes and brings him homemade banana bread
Aw,
for a little
sweet.
birthday, and then we went home on the 21st, and, we were just in baby bliss. It was for the first 2 weeks probably,
Yeah.
I was just like, "This is amazing." I was super teary, which,
Yeah.
like, not sad teary, though, I was just like every time I looked at him, I was like, "Look at my little boy.
Yeah.
I made you, I birthed you, you're
Mhm.
here, you're amazing, you're a miracle." And I cried about everything, but I was just like so happy and I was
Yeah.
just And I felt so comfortable, it felt so natural, nursing felt so comfortable and natural, and the only thing we were not sleeping much because, like, he still did not like to be in the bassinet at that point, so
Yeah.
there was the first couple weeks that we literally took shifts of, like, I'm awake with him for 2 hours, you're awake with him for 2
Yeah.
hours, and the nursing every 2 hours was not something that I was, like, mentally prepared
Yeah.
for.
It's a lot.
That was really hard, and, like, with the like, chronic illness, like, chronic fatigue is very real
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
by itself, so then,
Right.
like, the fatigue of having a baby and all that
Yeah.
was really hard for me, but we had our 2-day checkup with Kason, and we saw someone who wasn't our normal pediatrician,
Yeah.
um, and she was like, "Oh, he's, up to his leaving the hospital weight after
Okay.
2 days."
Yeah.
And she's like, "That's great. It's
Yeah.
not his birth weight, but it's a leaving the hospital weight." And she said, like, "You can go 3 and 4-hour stretches between
Okay.
feeds." And I was like, "Fabulous.
Yeah.
I'm I am tired. I would
Yes.
love to do that."
Yeah.
So we did that, and then we had our 2-week check, and he was an ounce shy of his birth weight, which now I can look at it and be like, I've got a clear mind, clear
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, not a big deal. But in the moment, the pediatrician was like, "Oh, he hasn't gotten back to his birth weight. How often are you feeding him?" And I'm like, "Well, every 2 hours during the day, but every 3 to 4 at night." And she's like, "Oh no, you need to be feeding him every 2 hours until he's at his birth weight." And so what I heard, it's not what she said, but what I heard was, "You failed."
Yeah.
'Cause I'm my biggest critic, I'm hardest on myself,
Absolutely you
and then,
are.
like, being a parent, all I wanna do is be the absolute best for him.
Yeah.
And I really think for me, that was the start of my postpartum anxiety
Yeah.
experience. It went from being this beautiful bubble for the first 2 weeks to being really hard, emotionally.
Yeah.
Nothing changed as far as how much I loved Keeson or how much I
Right.
loved the
Right.
experience or how happy I was to be there, but I started to overthink everything,
Yeah.
and I was obsessed with how much is he eating and how often is he eating, and I don't know if he's getting enough food, and how much does he weigh, and how many diapers does he have, and, like,
Yeah.
I it stole some of the joy,
Yeah. Absolutely.
um, and I was just really panicky about it. I think that it makes me wish I could go back, and
Yeah.
experience those early days because as much as I tried my very best to be as present as I could.
It's hard when you are.
Well, yeah, when you're like, I just wanna be the best for him, and I wanna make sure he's okay and he's healthy and he's
Yeah.
growing and he's
Yeah.
whatever, and, people would comment on, "Oh, he's so tiny." And, like,
Imagine.
yes, he's a newborn, like,
Yeah.
he should be
Yeah.
tiny.
Right. But that's not what you heard.
No.
Yeah.
I heard, like, "You're not feeding him enough," and, like, he's not growing enough,"
Yeah.
and, like, "He's not healthy enough." And so, that was really, really tough for me, just, like, the vulnerable side of it is, like, genuinely, it was really tough. And then when you have, like, 6 week.
Postpartum visit with your
Yeah,
OB.
I was like, "Yeah, I'm still waking up every 2 hours, um, and making him eat. I'm waking him up. Like,
Yeah.
he's in a dead sleep, and I'm waking him to feed him."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because the doctor said that he wasn't gaining enough weight." And she looks, she's like, "You an ounce shy of his birth weight." And she's like, "You're not doing that anymore."
Yeah.
She's like, "This is a doctor telling you you are not doing that anymore." And I just,
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I hugged her. It was Dr.
Yeah.
Finley. And
Yeah.
I just gave her a hug, and I was like, "Thank you." I needed permission because I was so, so anxious. Like, I literally spent, like, weeks 2 through 6 just, like, obsessively worrying that I was not enough.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You do not need to wake him anymore. You do not like, he is healthy, he is happy." Like, at 3.5 weeks, he gave us his first, like, reactive smile. 3.5 weeks. She's like, "A baby that's not healthy or not growing
It's
does
not
not
gonna be
meet
doing that.
milestones like that
Yeah.
early. You have a very healthy baby."
Yeah.
And so, like, I needed to hear that, and that helped a lot. And I also think that part of in my job and in life, I'm really big mental health
Yeah.
advocate. That's
Yeah.
really important to me. And so I think I want to use this platform a little bit, if you're
Yes.
okay with it,
Yeah.
to share and
Yeah.
be vulnerable about what that was like for me. And I had previously in life at one point in time taken anxiety meds,
Yeah.
and it was something that I needed at that time, and it helped. And then I got to a point where I didn't need it, and
Yeah.
that's great. And Dr. Greenleaf was like, "Have you considered taking some anxiety meds?
Yeah.
There are meds that are completely safe while you're breastfeeding." And I was like, "I thought about it. I really don't want to."
Yeah.
But she she did a really beautiful thing, which is taking that, like, step out of the equation, and she's like, "That's totally fine. I honor whatever decision you want.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write you the prescription, and I'm gonna send it in,
Yeah.
and it's there. If you decide you're at a point where you need it,
Then you can just
and
pick it up.
you don't have to ask.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick up the phone. You don't have to admit to anybody else how you're feeling if you don't want to,
Yeah.
but I want to support you through this, and, like, I
Yeah.
can tell that this is a lot of weight. At the same time, I, at this point, still didn't know when my work was gonna require me to be back to work,
Yeah.
so that was a huge anxiety for me.
And also, I know for me, when I'm exhausted, my anxiety is worse.
Yes.
So if you're waking up every 2 hours,
Mhm.
still taking shifts because he doesn't wanna sleep by himself,
Yeah.
you are exhausted,
Yes.
and that just it makes it so
So
much worse.
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I went home from that appointment, and, like, part of my anxiety was relief, just, like, hearing my doctor tell me he is healthy, he is
Yeah.
okay, whatever. It wasn't the end of the anxiety road
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
We started letting him sleep through the night, or sleep without waking him, and
Yeah.
he would go anywhere from, like, 4 to 9 hours. Went from every 2 hours to 4 to 9 hour stretches.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh," a little bit of sanity was, like, seeping back
Yeah,
into me.
truly.
Um, and I feel like I had a few good weeks in there. And that's when I saw you. We got out of the house, and
Yeah.
I was going places and taking Kason out, and he was also at an age, I feel like that is super, super easy to
Just
just
take them
go.
anywhere.
Yeah, they sleep almost all the time,
Yeah.
and, like, it's just easy to go, go, go. And then when he started to hit that age where it's like he actually has more obvious wake windows
Yeah.
and sleep windows, I felt the anxiety start to creep back in.
Okay.
And it started to feel like I, I was finding myself being really snappy with Ian,
Yeah.
and while I was pumping and nursing, there was a lot of, like, aggression I was feeling.
M When you were actually physically pumping and nursing.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that was one of the things that I was like, "I don't like this feeling." I was making myself anxious by feeling that, like, aggression, so I don't know why I'm feeling
Yeah.
this. And then the other thing that I really realized was timelines or deadlines were putting a lot of anxiety into me,
Yeah.
so getting him down for a nap, or trying to get him down for a bedtime, or trying to
Yeah.
get out the door for an appointment, or,
Yeah.
trying to, like, "Oh, I know I have to nurse him and do this and do that before I go." Anything that went with the timeline, all of a sudden I was like, "I can't breathe."
Yeah.
Um, and I found myself then starting to, like, "Well, I'm not just not gonna leave the house." Like,
Yeah.
it would just
Yeah.
be easier to stay
Stay.
home than it
Yeah.
would be to, like, put myself in that timeline crunch and feel that anxiety.
Yeah.
And then the little things that I noticed and that Ian was noticing, my mom was noticing, and my sister was noticing, and, like,
Yeah.
I was super worried about him getting sick,
Yeah.
and, um it finally, like, dawned on me when he had one night where he wasn't sleeping super well, and that was recently within in the last month. This is when I finally accepted, like, "Hmm, this has been going on long enough, you don't need to
Yeah.
feel this way."
Yeah.
But um, he had a hard night, and Ian, God bless him, does a really big part of the night shift,
Yeah.
and, I knew that he had had a hard night, and I knew that Ian had been up with him multiple times. And Ian brought him down to me to nurse him. I had this, like, "Oh my god, like, what if Ian shook him?" And I started to, like, doubt the safest person
Yeah.
that he could be with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, And, he, like, took a breath funny, and I was like, "Okay, like, daddy didn't hurt you, did he?" Like, and I'm, like, having this, like, thought process of just, "Oh my god, like, he might have gotten mad at him for not sleeping, and, like, what if he shook him?" Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I, like, woke up the next morning, and I was like, "You would never you wouldn't shake him, would you?" And Ian's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, he had a bad night." And Ian's like, "And I love you, and I love him more than anything in this world, like,
Yeah.
absolutely never.
Yeah.
No." And I realized that is your anxiety speaking.
Yes.
That is not even how
That's not
you
you.
feel
Yep.
about your
Yeah.
husband, or you genuinely don't feel that about him. That is that anxiety voice, that little devil on your shoulder,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, no, but he might,"
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and, so yeah, that's when I was like, "Okay, it's
It's
time."
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and before I even had him, I had, like, about every 2 weeks therapy appointment just to check in, just to,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
especially in my job, like, your mental health is
Oh,
extremely
yes.
important.
Absolutely.
And so I had been doing that, and I was like, "Okay, it's time I'm gonna take that step and, um, and it's, like, a low dose, but it's just enough." And I started taking the anxiety meds, and within a couple of weeks, I was like
Oh my goodness.
I
I
had a
can
conversation with
breathe.
Mara, actually.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, "This is almost time." And then I talked to my sister, and I was like, she wanted me to come over to her house. She had a day off, and she's like, "Come
Yeah.
over, like, the cousins can hang out, and
Yeah.
I'll make you food." And I was like, "I can't drive to your house because Kason's gonna cry in the car, and I can't hear him cry without, like, not being able to breathe."
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, "You don't have to feel that way."
Right. Right.
And I was like, "I know, but what if anxiety meds don't help?" And she said, "But what if they do?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what if you feel better and you're able to be, not that you're not a good mom, but you're able to be even a better mom because of it?"
And really enjoy the
Yes.
experience
Yes.
and soak it all up.
Because you get every single day one time, and you get to have them be this small once.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, she's right."
Yeah.
And yeah, within 2 weeks, it was just like, "Holy Hannah,
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
I can breathe.
Yeah.
I can hear him cry and feel okay, and
Yeah.
I can get out of the house to come do a podcast and know,
Yeah.
okay,
It's gonna
I've got a
be
timeline and it's fine, and I can leave him with dad or grandma
yeah.
or whoever, and he'll be okay."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, like, acknowledging that part of postpartum can sneak up on you,
Yes. And
and
it's
you can simultaneously love your baby
yeah.
and also not feel good
Yeah.
mentally.
Yeah, and be struggling. Yeah, they both can happen at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to accept that because I was harboring a lot of guilt of, like, um, I'm not being grateful enough or something if
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
feeling this way.
Okay. So my last question for you.
Okay.
What do you want Kason to know about your journey into becoming his mother?
I had such a hard time with this question. Um, I just want him to know that both me and his dad have wanted him our entire lives,
Yeah.
and we truly, truly fought to be the absolute best versions of ourselves
Yeah.
before we took the jump to bring him into this world so that
Yeah.
he could have the absolute best version of mom and dad.
Yeah. I love
Um,
that.
and, like, break the negative cycles that we all have in our
Yes.
lives
Yeah.
so that he could have the best. And there was not a single moment on the journey, from trying to conceive to finding out I was pregnant to being pregnant to bringing him into this world to being his mom now, that hasn't been the most magical, blissful, beautiful part of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would do all 14 hours of labor and delivery
Yeah.
again to bring him here.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been just the greatest joy to be his mama.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing everything
Thank
and being
you.
vulnerable.
Of course. Thank you for having me and having this platform and
Yes.
sharing the stories and
Yes, absolutely.
special to do it with you.
Thank you.
Yes.